which includes flavors from the vineyards, which includes flavors from the vineyards, brownness of the seeds, lignification of the cluster, and also tannins of the skin. La cosecha. Podemos decir harvest, to harvest, or to pick the grape. O también se puede decir I pick the grapes. During the harvest season, I pick the grapes. Wine is made in the vineyard. The process of making fine wine requires that the grapes are harvested at the precise time. Preferably when physiologically ripe. A combination of science and old-fashioned tasting usually go into determining when to harvest, with consultants, winemakers, vineyard managers, agronomists. The grape is one of the only fruit that can produce wine. Because it will produce annually a reliable amount of sugar to yield sufficient alcohol to preserve the resulting beverage. Also, the grapes have the exact amount of acids. The grape has the right amount of acids, esters, and tannins. To make natural stable wine on a consistent basis. Hay un videíto que se llama Los componentes del vino y sus características en inglés, donde ahí enumero los taninos, los ésteres y también gran parte de los ácidos que encontramos en la uva. Entonces búsquenlo para complementar. es bastante completo. Ripeness is essentially comprised of two parts. One part chemistry, which includes sugars and pH, and another part is intuition, which includes flavors from the vineyards, which includes flavors from the vineyards, brownness of the seeds, lignification of the cluster, and also tannins of the skin. When we go to the vineyard to taste, we are first visually attracted to the grape, looking at the clusters to see if there is any shriveling, and then we are tasting, noting the crunch. The crunch of the skin. We are noting the crunch of the skin when we initially put it in our mouth. And then looking for complex flavors. It takes several years to develop a palate. And also our mouth is competing. Our mouth is competing with 25 Brix degrees of sugar. 25 Brix degrees of sugar, which makes it difficult to taste the nuances that you are looking for. Vamos entonces a entrar más profundamente en la parte donde ya podemos percibir que la uva está lista para ser cosechada. Recién dijimos que es una parte de ciencia, una parte científica y también una parte intuitiva y de conocimiento. Pero ahora vamos a adentrarnos un poco más profundamente en todo eso. Entonces, vamos con eso. señales o signos de que nuestra uva está lista para ser cosechada. Signs the grapes are ready for wine harvest. Signs the grapes are ready for wine harvest. First of all, the color of the grapes. The color of the grapes. El color de la uva. The color of the grapes. Red grape varieties. Red grape varieties. Grape varieties. Grape varieties. 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 Will gradually turn from green to red or to purple or purple red. However, experienced winemakers. Ven que suenan como a palabras compuestas. Enólogos experimentados. Es importante entonces hacer el swing, hacer esa unión en fonética y en sonido para que realmente cobre sentido. Entonces, experienced winemakers. However, experienced winemakers know it could take many weeks. Experienced winemakers know it could take many weeks depending on the weather, depending on the weather and the grape variety. Lo mismo acá. Grape variety. No es grape variety. The grape variety is the grape variety. Before true ripeness sets in. Before true ripeness sets in. Before true ripeness sets in.